No, I was saying thank you for allowing me to be part of the process. I've been following you kind of in the background for a while. I think I'd reached out to you last year sometime. So it was really exciting for me to be able to get in touch with you, to have access to this body of work even before other people do. So thank you very much. I'm very honored about that.
The early bird gets the worm. No, I was very excited because I've been putting a lot of posters and a lot of like marketing, and I thought in the past I just get the book out, and then I thought no, people need to know it. And besides, it's been the lockdown and this kind of hibernation, a really creative process, and it just was coming all by itself. It's like it had a life of its own, and all the posters, they were so pretty, and I go, where does all this come from, you know? So I thought, I have to share it. And I was really excited when someone was, it's like when you have a baby and you go, look, but not too early. So at the beginning, I held back a little bit, and I gave it like a month to see where it wanted to go. And then I had a few people reading the book in advance. They haven't had the time to do this, to do the sharing, and it's very nice when we do it in a video, because then everybody else can know. Otherwise it's all like below the surface, and people, there are so many thousands of books, but the way it came out and it flew so easily, so effortlessly, I thought there is something here that maybe people can benefit from.
I would classify myself as being relatively young in the space of understanding what happens from an energetic perspective, if I can put it that. So I started off about 4 years ago in 2016, listening to the teachings of Abraham Hicks. And then that led me to listen to Wayne Dyer, to reconnect with Louise Hay. Within that family, there's a lot that I was able to learn about being a deliberate and conscious creator, and also then harnessing whatever tools you have within yourself, and also not just harnessing, but sharpening your own tools, so that you don't create things by accident. You create them because it's exactly what you want. So the whole concept of alchemy, from my perspective, is limited, because all I understand about alchemy is from my favorite book, which is The Alchemist, which I've read and reread over the years so many times. But you're talking about modern day alchemy, because the way The Alchemist is written is there's a disconnection, because that happened so long ago. So being able to pull that and pull that connectedness to source and the universe into like an everyday thing is really what attracted me to the title of your book, but also to then look into it a little more. So that was the basis from which I came into it.
So like you came from Abrams here, and I came all throughout the old times, the last 20, almost 5 years, with the Celestine prophecy, all the old classics, Conversations with God, Louise Hay, many, and then I went into the Flower of Light, which is like total hectic, mathematical, universal geometry, and then Voyagers, Arcturians, and Pleiadians, and everything came together. And then in 2015, a friend of mine gave me Abrams, Ask and You'll Be Given. I don't have time to read a book these days. Everything is happening so fast. I take bits because I already did my reading of books, and I used to summarize them, write them in my diaries, take out quotes, so really work with them when the energies were slower. But now the energies are so much faster. So I wrote, as I was growing, I wrote practical spirituality, because I may be a metaphysicist, but I'm also a polyglot. It has to be practical. I bring the language down into real communication. It has to be meaningful. If it's floating up there, it means nothing to people. People can't change their lives with that. So always, like I'm a teacher as well, little concepts, like spoon feeding people on concepts that otherwise would be non-digestible, and to say, integrate one, move on, integrate one, move on. So then I wrote White Crane, which says, everybody has got a gift, even from previous lives or parallel lives, but how do we implement that gift in modern society? if you were an alchemist, if you were a healer, if you were a guru, if you were a teacher, a scriber, scientist, whatever it was in the old ways, how can we apply it into modern humanity to shift it to the next level? That was my query. I wrote in my PhD thesis, I wrote the etheric DNA. Again, DNA, there is 97% of the DNA we don't use. And it's all etheric, means it's an energy. It's energy-based. What does that mean? So the nervous system, a catalyst and a conductor of the energies, because I feel energy as electricity and burns through the chakras, and it's painful sometimes, not so much now because I did all that heavy work in the old times. So now I am able to go with the zigzagging fast changes. So I thought, how can I help people? The reason I progressed so slowly, I said to Spirit, I want to go through every single little step. I don't want to miss out any, because I want to know how it feels, how anybody feels, so that I can tell where they are at and I can help them shift to the next level. If I miss steps, I cannot tell what you know, because I haven't felt it. And I need to feel everything in order to know where you are at. Because you can say, yes, I know what you mean, but do you really know what I mean? If you haven't been there. So that was my process in my mind, but it just became so pretty and the cover was so powerful and people say, oh, it's scary. All black.
It's beautiful.
Oh, so it was just so exciting.